First response, Pankaj is saying that it uses 2 pole and it uses 6 pole. Okay. Next difference. What is the difference? As you can see, in the last session we have explained this is a single phase system and this is a 3-phase system. So in 3-phase you have to represent your 3 phases like this. So the voltage fluctuation is very less. Okay, you will find that at each time instant constant voltage will be given. But when you say our voltage is single phase, then there is maximum voltage fluctuation. Okay, so here is a maximum voltage fluctuation. Okay, there is a minimum voltage fluctuation. Okay, another difference where we are using single phase and where we are using 3-phase. In home appliances, you can use this single phase induction motor, whereas you can use this 3-phase induction motor in industry. Okay, so all the big motors like lift, okay, like your water pumps, okay, or your shaft is there. So you can use 3-phase induction motor in industries, where in home appliances, what are the home appliances? You have hair dryer, okay, some mixie is there, so there is induction cooker is also present, okay. So you can use that single phase induction motor in your home appliances, okay. So this is the major difference between single phase and 3-phase systems. Clear? Okay. So this is the diagram for your single phase induction motor. So what are the different component of this single phase induction motor? There is a terminal box. In this terminal box, you can connect your connections right here. There is a cooling fan inside this casing. There is a stator. Outside portion is called a stator. Inside this, we have a rotor part. This rotor part is connected to our drive shaft. Okay, and we have some stator winding. These stator winding are placed outside to this rotor. Okay, and inside this rotor, you have to place this complete drive shaft. Okay, so now this single phase, how this single phase induction motor will work, we will explain right here. You can see the internal constructions for this single phase induction motor. So single phase AC supply is commonly used for lighting purpose in shops, office, homes, schools, etc. Okay, we can use this single phase supply in your homes or your schools, okay, or any office building also. So hence, instead of DC motors, the motors which work on a single phase AC supplies are popularly used. These AC motors are called a single phase induction motor. Okay, so when any motor which is used with this induction principle in your homes, those are all single phase induction motors. Okay, so used in the applications like small toys, small fans, or hair dryers. Okay, so you can find these induction motors in hair dryers, fans, and toys. Okay, now the construction of single phase induction motor, you can see from this figure, this is the stator part and this is the rotor part, and these some conductors are placed similar as compared to the 3-phase induction motor. Okay, then this electromagnetism is produced right here, and this rotor will rotate. Okay, so how this single phase induction motor work? The single phase induction motor also has two main parts, one rotating and another is stationary. So this rotating part is called as a rotor, whereas this stationary part is called a stator. Okay, so the stationary part in a single phase induction motor is stator, and the rotating part is rotor. Okay, the stator has laminated constructions made up of stamping. So you can see these are made up of so many number of plates. Okay, they are connected together with some stamping. Okay, and laminated with each other to reduce eddy current and hysteresis losses. Okay, so how these eddy current and hysteresis losses will be generated right here? So when these materials are placed, okay, so some heat will be generated inside these rotors. Okay, so if you have not placed these rotors with proper laminated and stamping, then this hysteresis and eddy current losses will be maximum. Okay, in this rotor part. Clear? Now, the number of poles for which stator winding is wound decided by the synchronous speed of the motor. So we have explained this synchronous speed. How you can calculate the synchronous speed, we have explained in the last session. Ns is equal to 120 F divided by P. But in single phase, what is the angle? So the number of poles for which stator winding is wound decided by the synchronous speed of the motor. Okay, so the synchronous speed is denoted as Ns, and it has a fixed relation with supply frequency F and number of pole P. The relation is given by 120 F divided by P. Okay, and there are two different type of squirrel cage rotors and slip ring rotors. Okay, so Pankaj is asking a question that 360 is the angle for the single phase. Yes, Pankaj. Okay, so there are two type of rotors, squirrel cage and slip ring. We have explained these in the earlier sessions. Okay, so in the squirrel cage, this squirrel cage rotor, so you can find this squirrel cage motor is one of the type of induction motor. In order to generate the motion, it happens electromagnetics, or as the output shaft is connected to the rotor inner component, which is look like a cage, hence it is called a squirrel cage. Okay, so this rotor, inside this rotor part, so we have placed number of plates inside this. So these are considered as a cage. Okay, so hence we can call it as squirrel cage rotor. Okay, in order to avoid the hysteresis and eddy current that are leading to power loss, and rotor is laminated. So you can say these are number of plates are connected together with some laminations and stamping. Okay, so steel lamination is provided inside these. Okay, so aluminum bars are placed outside these connections. Okay, so Pankaj is asking questions, sir. Rotor plates are inside cage. So how to define these rotor plates? We can see right from here. So there is, this is, let's suppose that this is our rotor part. So inside this rotor, you have to place some winding. Okay, so number of plates are joined together. Number of plates are joined together like this. Number of plates are joined together like this. So I am showing these number of plates with some gaps, okay, but in reality they all are connected together with some stamping, so and some lamination, okay, with the help of some lamination. So you can use lamination right here inside these groups. You can use lamination to join these two plates. These two plates are joined together, okay. These two plates are joined together. These two plates are joined together. These two plates are joined together. So it will make a rotor like this, like this is our rotor part, and inside this rotor we have to place some shaft, okay, and outer portion we have to connect some aluminum, okay, plates, okay. This is some plates connected with this aluminum, okay. So Pankaj, these plates are inside this rotor. Understood? Quickly give your response, Pankaj. Okay. So let's come to the next point. Okay. So what is the different advantage and disadvantage of this squirrel cage? So first advantage is that it is simple and simple construction. Second point is it's a low initial as well as maintenance cost for this. Okay, maintain constant speed, high starting current. Okay, very sensitive to fluctuations in supply voltage. Okay, and low power factor in the light loads. So this is the advantage and disadvantage in squirrel cage rotor. Clear? Applications where we can use this squirrel cage rotor. So this is suitable for industrial drive, for small power where speed control is not required, such as for printing machinery, floor mills, and other shafts drives and small power. So when we have seen the construction for this squirrel cage rotor, you have seen that there is no slip ring and no brushes are present in this squirrel cage rotor. Okay, so when these brushes and slip ring are used, that is, these slip ring and brushes will control the speed of the motor. Okay, so that is the major difference right here. So in squirrel cage you cannot control the speed. The constant speed is maintained when you switch on the power supply. Okay, you cannot control the speed. So this is the centrifugal pumps, fans, blowers. They can use these type of squirrel cage rotors. Okay. Then slip ring rotors. So a slip ring induction motor is referred to the asynchronous motor as the speed at which it operates is not equal to the synchronous speed of the rotor. So what do you mean by asynchronous? As the name suggests, asynchronous. They have rotor and stator have different speeds. Okay. So when what is your synchronous speed? Ns is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns. It is the difference between the synchronous speed to the actual speed. Okay, so synchronous speed is defined as ns is equal to, write in chat box. We have explained that expression in the morning. Quickly give your response. It is the difference between the synchronous speed is equal to the difference between, quickly give your response. actual speed, yes, which is represented by NR. Okay, so the rotor of this type, actual speed of rotation, yes, yes, Kunal. Okay, the rotor of this type of motor is bone type. It comprises of a cylindrical laminated steel core and a semi-closed grooves at the outer boundary. So you can say this is called a slip ring, and you have to connect brushes to the star and delta connection. Okay, so these brushes are connected with these 3 points to the star or delta winding. Okay, so this is the rotor part. Rotor shaft is present and slip ring are also present. So you can control the speed of the motor with the help of these star and delta connections. Okay. Any doubt till now? We have explained these all concepts in the previous session. So in case of single phase and three phase induction motor, both rotors and stator part are similar, but main difference is the winding difference. Okay, in single phase we are using one phase, that's why only one winding is required. Okay, for three phase induction motor we require three winding. Okay, so what is the different advantage disadvantage for this slip ring? So first advantage is high and excellent starting torque to support the high inertia loads. Okay, it has the low starting current due to the external resistance. So where this external resistance is present, when you connect your star and connection to these brushes, so these external resistances create this type of, okay, low starting current. So is it advantage or disadvantage? And low current is passing through that motor. Initially, if high current will pass through the motor, what will happen? Quickly give your response. What will happen if initially high current will pass through the motor? What will happen? Quickly give your response. If resistance is not present in the motor, then what will happen? Quickly give your response. So when any high current is flowing through the motor, then it will burn your winding. Okay, so small current is required in the starting of the motor. Okay, so this external resistance will oppose the flow of current. Okay, and low current is flowing through at the start. So can take full load current, that is 6 to 7 times higher. So when our this rotor part is rotating, it can take 6 to 7 times higher current. Okay, so disadvantage first is includes higher maintenance cost due to brushes slip ring compared to the squirrel cage rotor. Okay, so as we have seen in the last slide right here, so this shaft contains the slip ring and brushes. Okay, so when you apply high resistance, the speed of this rotor will slow down. Okay, so when you apply less resistance right here, then the speed of the this shaft is more. So when you control the speed, some friction is produced in these slip ring and brushes. Okay, so when any friction produced in the component, that will cost you. Okay, if there is no friction and if you are not using these parts, then no maintenance cost will be there. Okay, when any friction is produced right here, you have to replace these slip ring or brushes after some time. Okay, because they will lose from this shaft position. Okay, quickly give your response. Have you understood? Okay, so next point is disadvantage is intricate construction. So complex construction is there because in previous slide you can see that you have to connect these slip ring and brushes from this shaft. Okay, so if these are loose, they will cause the damage for the motor. Okay, so you have to properly maintain these slip ring and brushes into the motor. Okay, so now applications of slip ring rotors, where we can use this type of rotors. So these motors are used where higher torque and low starting current are required. Okay, higher torque means higher speed, and low starting current means when we require small current to the input. So use application like elevators, compressors, cranes, conveyors, or hearses, or many more. Okay, so these are some applications. So we have covered all these point also. So starting torque, how we can increase this. The first parameter is a rotor. It has a rotor of one type, slip ring में. Squirrel cage में its rotor is of squirrel cage. Okay, then rotor slot in slip ring. So rotor has cylindrical core, has parallel slot in which each slot has a bar, whereas in squirrel cage this rotor slots are not parallel to each other. We have explained this. Okay, then in construction, the slip ring construction is complicated because of the slip ring brushes, whereas squirrel cage is of simple construction. Okay, the parameter for this external resistance in slip ring is external resistance circuit is connected with the motor, whereas in squirrel cage no external resistance circuit as bar of the rotor is completely slotted. Okay, the starting torque for slip ring is high, whereas for squirrel cage it is low. The efficiency for slip ring is low, whereas for squirrel cage it is high. Okay, so working principle of single phase induction motor, we have explained it earlier also. It is similar to three phase. Let's explain it again. In the single phase induction motor, single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding. Okay, the stator winding carries an alternating current which produce the flux, which is also alternating in nature. Okay, the flux is called the main flux. This flux links with the rotor conductors, and due to the transformer action of EMF gets induced in the rotor. Okay, the induced EMF drive the current through the rotor, as the rotor circuit is the closed circuit. Okay, the rotor current produce another EMF or another flux called rotor flux required for the monitoring action. The second flux is produced according to the induction principle due to the induced EMF. Hence, the motor is called induction motor. As against this, in DC motors, a separate supply is required to the armature to produce armature flux. This is an important difference between DC motors and induction motor. Okay, so in DC motors, separate supply is required for armature. So what is armature? The outer portion is called armature. Right here in induction motor, outer portion is called a stator, whereas in DC motor, this outer portion is called armature. Okay, so applications, first we can use this single phase motor in fans, refrigerators, air conditioners, vacuum cleaners, okay, washing machines, centrifugal pumps, and small forming applications. Okay, or small forming appliances. Quickly give your response. Till now, have you understood this? Single phase induction motor. It is similar to the three-phase induction motor. That's why we have explained it very fast. Okay. So now, in this slip of a single-phase induction motor, the slip of an induction motor is defined difference between the main flux speed and their rotor speed. So this main flux speed is ns, then subtraction with this n rotor speed. Okay, and if we find out the percentage, we can multiply by 100. Okay, the symbol S represents the slip. It is expressed by the percentage of synchronous speed, or mathematically we can write it as S equal to ns minus n divided by ns multiplied by 100. Okay, so where ns is the synchronous speed or nr is the rotor speed. Okay, or we can say that this nr is the actual speed. Clear? So now, how this rotor speed of a single phase induction motor will be achieved? So this rotor speed is given by the equation nr is equal to ns into 1 minus s. You can rearrange this equation. Okay, you can rearrange this equation. If you want to find out the nr rotor speed, you can rearrange this equation. Okay, so you will achieve this ns into 1 minus s. Alternatively, if ns is the synchronous speed in revolution per second, then this nr is actual rotor speed in revolution per second. Okay, any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. We have explained all these formulas in the last session. Quickly give your response. Any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. No, clear. Okay. So frequency of a rotor, the rotor frequency is given by the equation Fr is equal to S into Fs. Okay. So here this Fr is the rotor frequency, S is the slip, Fr is the supply frequency. Okay. At standstill condition, when slip is equal to 1, the rotor speed or the rotor frequency Fr is equal to Fs. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this mean? So this Fr is equal to S into Fs. Okay, Fs, first this Fr is a rotor frequency, Fs is the supply frequency, and S is the slip. Okay, S is the slip. So you can represent slip using Fr upon Fs also, or you can also represent slip as this slip is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns. Okay, so you also calculate the value for this Fr also. Okay, so now let's come to the next point. This is a three-phase induction motor. We will cover now the content for your slip ring. And okay, so this presentation is completed right here. Now come to the next point, torque slip characteristics. We will cover this torque slip characteristics for three-phase induction machine. Okay. So this is the graph which we have shown in the morning session. Okay. So we have explained that how slip is represented. We know that slip is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns multiplied by 100. Okay, so we have calculated this slip. Nr is the rotor speed, or which is called as a actual speed, whereas if we want to calculate in percentage, then we multiply it by 100. Okay, till now have you understood? If the rotor runs at synchronous speed, so s is equal to 0. If the rotor is stationary, then s is equal to 1. Okay, so this expression is very useful right here. So if then we are running the motor with synchronous speed. If this slip is equal to 1, then our rotor is in off stage, means no rotation, ns is 0. Okay, clear? Any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? How you can represent the expression using this slip is equal to 0, okay, and slip is equal to 1. So slip may be expressed as the percentage by multiplying the above equations by 100. Notice that the slip is the ratio and does not have unit. Okay, so this is the rotor frequency. Rotor frequency is represented by P into N divided by 120, where Fr is the rotor frequency, P is the number of stator poles, then N is the slip. Okay, so we can calculate this using this formula, rotor frequency. Clear? Any doubt till now? Quickly give your response. Quickly give your response. Okay. Okay, next come to the next point. We have only 5 minutes left. So quickly see this rotor frequency. So what would be the frequency of the rotor induced voltage at any speed? What would be the frequency of rotor induced voltage at any speed? So you can calculate it using this formula. Fr is equal to S into Fe. Okay. Then S is equal to 1. Is equal to the splash. On the other hand, if the rotor run at synchronous, frequency will be 0. So how to find this expression? So this is the expression right here. Fr equal to S into Fa. Okay. Clear? When the rotor is blocked, we have seen that if S is equal to 0, then what happen? S is equal to 1, then what happen? Quickly give your response. When S is equal to 0, in the previous slide, this rotor will rotate. S is equal to 0, the rotor will rotate. Okay. The blocked, S is equal to 1, the frequency of induced voltage is equal to the supply voltage. Clear? So you can put the value of S in this expression in equation 1. So in the first case, put the value of S right here. So what is the value for FR? FR is equal to 0. So it is frequency is 0. Okay. It is in off stage. And now put the value for slip S is equal to 1. So FR is equal to FA. Okay. So on the other hand, if the rotor run at synchronous speed, okay, the S is equal to 0, the frequency will be 0. Or when the rotor is blocked, S is equal to 1, the frequency of induced voltage is equal to the supply frequency. Okay, understood this point? How we can calculate the frequency for the rotor, or clear? Now, next point is torque of a DC motor. How to find the torque in a DC motor. So while the input to the induction motor is electrical power, its power is mechanical power, and for that we should know some terms and quantities related to mechanical power. So any mechanical load applied to the motor shaft will induce a torque on that motor shaft. Okay. So this torque is related to the motor output power, and the rotor speed is measured by this tau load is equal to P out divided by omega m into Newton meter. Okay. So you can find out this omega m using 2 pi n m divided by 60 radian per second. Okay. So this is the mechanical terms for torque. Okay. So you can find out using these formula. Any doubt till now? So we will concentrate on this torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Now, so as the induction motor is located from no load to full load, its speed decreases, hence slip increases. So initially there is no load, and we will apply some load to that induction motor, then this slip will be increasing. Okay, due to the increased load, motor has to produce more torque to satisfy the load demand. The torque ultimately depends on slip. Okay, so the behavior of a motor can be easily judged by sketching the curve obtained by plotting the torque produced against slip of the induction motor. Okay, so the curve obtained by plotting torque against slip S is equal to 1 at start to S is equal to 0 at synchronous speed is called torque slip characteristics of the induction motor. Okay, it is very interesting to supply the nature of a torque slip characteristics. We have seen that a constant supply voltage E2 is also constant, so we can write the torque equation as this one. Okay, so this torque is directly proportional to S R2 divided by R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. So we will cover all these points in the next session. Okay, so only 1 minute is left. We will cover this torque slip characteristics in the next session. Okay, clear? Any doubt till now? These are some references where you can find out this torque slip characteristics. Quickly give your response. Any doubt till now? Sir, PPT are not downloading in BB. So I can share